So I have with us today Aaron from Brandon University. Welcome, Aaron.
Hello.
And we have a few questions for you to go through today with regards to highlighting Brandon University, and I'm going to say from an Indigenous lens as well, if I could say that. All right, so our first question I have for you today is, in a recent 2019 Manitoba First Nations report, about half of all our participating high school First Nation students in Manitoba want to attend a post-secondary institution, but the reality is only about 10% of these students actually do attend. So what are you doing at Brandon University to help bridge this gap, Aaron?
In university, I guess the first step is for us to actually get into the schools and share that information about our institution with the students. So as a recruiter, just my title is a student success officer. So that entails like recruiting and then working with first year students. But anyways, so as a recruiter, I provide students with information on different types of programs that we offer and the supports that are available to them. It's likely that I'll be their first point of contact in high school and at BU. It's a relationship building process, and that all starts with us getting into the school, because they'll meet someone like me in their school. And again, when it's time for their course advising, recruiting isn't just limited to high school presentations either. It is convenient that we do go into their communities, but we also take part in larger career fairs in Manitoba. At these larger events, we'll typically bring other BU employees, and it gives the students an opportunity to focus on a particular subject or area of interest. And again, too, it also just helps with that relationship building and developing that familiarity. We want them to see us as, I guess, an extension of their community. We also have opportunities for students to come to BU for tours, presentations, and smaller events on campus. One such event is the Indigenous Student Campus Life Day. At this event, we invite Indigenous students to come on campus for the day, and they learn about different programs and what it's like to be a student at BU. It is currently limited to the local area, but it is something that we do hope to expand. We also have our Student for a Day program. So that's open to, again, like all of Manitoba. So this is, how can I explain it? It's like a tour. But students will sign up for specific dates to come on campus and experience a specific faculty. So maybe you have a student who's interested in the Faculty of Education. They want to become a teacher. So they'll go on our website and then they'll sign up for that Student for a Day on that specific day. So for a student who is interested, they can learn specifically about that program. They'll get a tour of the facilities and they'll participate in a class as well. And lunch is also provided, so that's really nice, and just kind of want to make sure they feel welcome. We partner with other institutions in Manitoba. So BU is part of CAPM. What does that stand for? Choices for Aboriginal Post-Secondary Education in Manitoba. And another group called MPPC. That one I forget what it stands for, but again, it's like a conglomerate of universities and colleges in Manitoba, and we'll go and deliver these group presentations. We also have a pretty close partnership with ACC as well. We do offer some programs in conjunction with them. Other ways too is that we offer events for guidance counselors, post-secondary education counselors, and education directors. So the purpose of those events is to provide people who work with Indigenous students with information to help them encourage students to think about attending BU or just post-secondary in general. So it's another way that we build relationships with those communities. When, like I said, when students come to BU, we want them to feel like they're coming to an extension of their community, and for them to know that they'll be supported here. Lastly, just another example of providing these events for people who work with Indigenous students. So recently, BU celebrated the Indigenous Excellence Month, and I put together an event that was specific to Indigenous sponsors. So this event something that we hope to have every year. And again, it's just the purpose of that is to develop relationships and to ensure, um, to give them that reassurance that, you know, the youth of their communities will be taken care of at BU, and we'll do what we can to help them throughout their academic journey.
Well, I'm liking what you're saying there, and I'm especially liking to hear, what I pulled out. And you said a lot, but what I pulled out was, it's heavy relationship based. And so you're making relationships with the sponsors, making relationship with the students, you're having a lot of opportunity for students to come onto campus and explore Brandon U. So I think that's great and fantastic. Moving on to the next question. What are some of the campus services available specifically for First Nation students?
Brandon University, Indigenous students can access, uh, we call it the IPC for short, but what that is the Indigenous People Center. So students can access computers, printers free of charge. It's also a place where our visiting elders come to meet with students. In the IPC, we have an Indigenous Student Success Officer, so someone who works specifically with Indigenous students. Um, and part of the role is like that first year advising. They also recommend supports and services in BU and in Brandon as well, because when students come to BU, they're not just coming to BU, they're coming to Brandon. And so Brandon is in part an extension of themselves too. So we have people who can assist in that transition from home to BU. The staff at the IPC, they also promote, cross-cultural events on campus. So these events are important because they allow students to share and learn from one another. And it's a great way for students to build their networks and to become mentors to new students as well. BU also recently received funding for an Indigenous specific transition program. It's called the Alan B. Wagner Indigenous Student Transition Program. Students in the Faculty of Science, Health Studies, Business Administration are eligible for this program, and the purpose is to assist in that transition from BU, from home to BU. And it has been quite successful, actually. It's a great program to have. Again, just giving them those skills that they need to be successful. Along with those other services, students can access academic advising, personal counseling, academic skills, career planning and placement, student accessibility services. So these services, they are offered to all students, but the staff are well equipped to support Indigenous students as part of BU's indigenization strategy. So I feel it's important that I mention these services because, again, it's not First Nation specific, but students should know that they can access them. And they'll also need, it's also good to know that they'll be meeting with someone who understands their needs. And again, like we want to learn from the students as well. So the other things that we do offer is our Brandon University Indigenous Student Council. And we also have a student leader program. Again, just more opportunities for that mentorship, coming in and developing your networks, your professional and social networks, and then again, just developing your professional skills. So again, like organization, leadership skills, things like that. So those are some things that we offer.
So moving on to the next question. What is campus life like for a first year student? Besides being scary and overwhelming.
Yeah. So for this, I thought about like what my experience was like, and and for a lot of students, it will seem a little overwhelming at first, because again, you're gonna have a lot more independence. So again, we'll look at high school versus university. In high school, your day is planned for you. You show up from 9 till 3:30. You're going to be in classes. Your classes are set. You'll have a lunch hour, maybe a spare. With university, it's a lot different. So we have, I actually do have a slot schedule. Is it all right if I bring that up?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, sounds good. This is our weekly slot schedule. Now, this slot schedule, it's something that you'll use for your week to plan out your week. Now, what we have here is we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:30 to 9:20. We have all these boxes here, again, with the times of the day. But you'll also notice that we have numbers in each box. So let's say, for example, a student wants to take 4 courses in a term. Let's say they take a history, native studies, psychology, and a sociology course. Let's say the history course is in slot 1, sociology is in slot 2, psychology is maybe in slot 5, and the native studies course is in slot 11. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 9:20, 9:30 to 10:20, and then 12:40 to 1:30, they're going to be in class. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, they're going to be in class for that 1 hour during the day. So you'll see that there's a lot of space there open for students. And it looks like you have a lot of free time, but honestly, you have a lot of time to study. So I believe it's for every hour that you're in class, you have to do 3 hours of study. So yeah, and you have to treat it as if it's a full-time job, really, honestly. Like that's what university is. And you have to dedicate your time, your energy to these courses. So that again, that can be overwhelming to some students. I'll use myself as an example. When I first came to BU, um, I saw how much time I had, and I made the mistake of being like, I have so much free time. I'm gonna hang out and do all these different things. And unfortunately, my grades suffered because of that. Thankfully, I made the decision to start making use of those different services that we offer, and I managed to bring my grades up. So one thing that I'll say is that if you don't have those organization skills now, it's not too late. You can work on them now. Again, I mentioned those different services that we offer. Um, make use of them, and will help you gain like study skills, test taking skills, organization skills, things like that that need to be successful. So that's one thing. Um, what else is it like coming to as a first year student? Well, it's a new environment. Sometimes students have trouble in that transition. And so we do have what we call an early alert program. Basically, the way it works is we have we pay attention to students' grades, and if their grades are starting to decline, we're going to send out an email to those students. Now, you're not in trouble or anything like that. It's a way for us to again be proactive and stop something from becoming an issue down the line. So, again, we'll make an appointment with you and ask you like, is everything going okay? What kind of services do you need? Where are you having trouble? Because sometimes it could just be a simple case of, well, I shouldn't say a simple case, but sometimes it could just be that you're feeling homesick and you need to talk that out. So again, we do have personal counselors on campus as well. So again, we do have ways of intervening when it's needed. And of course, like you don't have to wait for an early alert if you feel that you're starting to slip. Definitely just make an appointment with us. And if you're not sure who to go to, again, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. Uh, Another difference I would say is there is a bit of culture shock, as opposed to living into whatever community that you're used to, whether it's on reserve or in the city, rural areas. Um, there's always going to be some form of culture shock, but again, too, we have those events, social events, to help you kind of make that friend group and kind of help with that transition. I mentioned all the other things that we offer, so again, we help with that. On to some good things though about the first year. So with that first year is like as you become part of a community, you meet people who are interested in the same things that you're interested in. Your goals will develop, and you actually broaden your horizons. You'll get a greater sense of independence and purpose. It's despite it can be kind of scary sometimes, but there's a lot of great things to coming just to post-secondary and getting that experience as a young adult. You're seeing new things, you're learning new things, you're meeting new people, you're meeting people who are, again, like I said, interested in the same things that you are, and you think differently too. You learn those critical thinking skills. You learn how to interpret what's going on in the world around you, and again too, you just learn what you want for you. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of what just the tip of the iceberg of what it's like to be a first year student.
Well, I think students could really appreciate some of the things that you went through as a first year student. And, you know, one of the messages I heard continually in what you said and suggested for students is get involved, get plugged in. Don't be afraid to try something new. Um, you'll know if you like it or if you don't just by trying it. So by all means, get out there, be active, and, you know, stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. That's okay as a first year student. That will happen.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on to the next question, Aaron. If I live on a reserve or federal land, what kind of bursaries or funding would I have available for tuition and cost of living?
For that, it's an interesting question because I had a look at our scholarships, and I asked around about this, and unfortunately we didn't have too much information on specific, like very specific scholarships and bursaries for like if you're living on federal land. But um, as always, we do encourage students to self-identify as Indigenous. You know, we do have specific scholarships, awards, bursaries for Indigenous students, you know, specific things for Métis students, and then of course there's always that band sponsor, but you know, have as much apply to whatever you can really. Here is our scholarships and awards website. Again, it's available right on our front page, and what this is it's a database that's accessible to all students. You'll see here that we have opportunities for future students, current students, and then an awards database. So if you're interested in seeing what we have, you can just click on learn more, find out what we offer. And then here are some of the things here. So we have our early entrance scholarships. So if you're considering coming to BU next year, definitely apply by, we have a specific deadline. Normally it's, I believe it's March 15th or 1st. Anyways, it's usually in March. And if you apply by that deadline, you'll be considered for early entrance scholarships. We have these other scholarships here. We have scholarships and bursaries. Yeah, and then so it'll kind of like go over what the criteria is for that. If you're for current students, find out what we offer, and then same thing. It'll provide you with a list of what you can search up, and then awards. It'll be the same thing. This one's going to look a little different. This is something that again you can just of all these different awards that are out there, both related to BU and I believe that are offered outside of BU. So again, you'll see here that there's a whole lot of different things here. You'll see the requirements, I guess. And yeah, so that's one thing that I would recommend doing. I'm just going to stop sharing. There we go. And okay, so again, just to kind of like recap, unfortunately, I couldn't find anything specific to living on federal land, but we do have, you know, money for students who self-identify as Indigenous, you know, Métis, and then also just First Nations. So again, have a look, see what's out there. Also have a look at what's available in your community. Do a quick Google search, and yeah, there's a lot of money that's available out there to you as a student. And one thing that I'll say again is that just apply to whatever is out there. Even if you feel that you only meet like one thing in the criteria, apply. Because if you don't apply and nobody else applies, that money's just going to sit there and collect dust. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to apply.
And then students, please navigate and explore, because like Aaron said, you never know who's applying or who's not applying. And if you are eligible, you could be that lucky candidate. So don't let finances be a discouragement to attending Brandon U or any other post-secondary institution. All right, moving on to the next question, Aaron. If I wanted to attend Brandon University, what kind of marks would I need to meet your admission requirements?
All right. So with BU, we're considered an open admissions university. To be admitted, so just to complete the first steps of the application process, students need to have graduated from high school with no M, I, or E designate courses. And we also have an option for mature students, so over the age of 21, who did not complete their high school grade 12. So again, like if you're over the age of 21, you didn't complete high school, we have a way for you to also apply to BU. Now, we do have specific high school prerequisites, and that's for students who want to major in specific subject areas. So here's our admission requirements. So again, we have the high school graduation with no MI or E designate courses or provincially recognized GED. And then we also have the mature student option. So applicants who do not meet other admission criteria and are the age of 21 by the last date of examinations. So again, like that. We also have different criteria for students who are in different provinces. So this is Manitoba specific, so I'll skip over that. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. So I'll use biology as an example. If you are a student and you want to major in biology, it says you should take these in high schools. You have to take these in high schools. So you need to have your biology 40S, your chemistry 40S, and then a mathematics 40S, so applied or pre-calculus. And then it's also recommended that you have physics and pre-calc. Again, it's just because of like the courses that you'll be doing. Let's look at another example. For our nursing, our pre-nursing and psychiatric nursing, biology 40S, mathematics 40S, and it's recommended that you have chemistry. For these programs, I'd highly recommend that you take chemistry because you will be working with medicines. So, so while we don't have specific grade marks or anything like that as part of the application process, but we do have requirements for the high school prerequisites. Now, if you take these courses, you're going to be able to take those intro level courses. So that's why we have those. If, let's say you don't have biology 40S, but you have chemistry and then a math, well, it doesn't mean you're barred from taking this biology or majoring in biology. We do have an option for students to take the high school prerequisites at BU while they're taking the university courses. So within our department, we refer to these courses as O90. Basically what they are is their high school equivalent courses. So if a student comes in, they want to major in biology, but they don't have that grade 12 biology, they can take the high school equivalent at BU while taking while taking university courses. They'll also get credit for up to 2 high school equivalent courses. So you're also getting credit for these courses as well. It's not necessarily putting you behind. In a way it does, because again, you can't take those higher level, the university level biology until you complete like the high school biology. But again, because of the way things are mapped out, you're still able to complete your degree while taking these courses. So if you don't have a high school course, don't let it deter you. Just apply, and during that academic advising appointment, we'll see what you're interested in. We'll get to know you. And if you say, yeah, I want to take biology, but I don't have the grade 12 biology, well, we have a way around that for you. So people like to think that everything's set in stone. Really, it's not entirely true. There's still ways to work around different issues and problems that come up. And yeah, so that's the admission requirements part.
And you know what? I think it's because there was a lot of information there, that if maybe you could provide your contact information, if that's okay, and students can email you, and you could either redirect them or help by answering any questions that they may have with regards to the admission process.
Yep. Can do.
Awesome. All right, so that's awesome. So moving along to the next question. Are there accommodations specifically for Indigenous students living on campus?
Yes, we do have accommodations for Indigenous students. So students who wish to, let's say, like practice of their culture. So I'll use smudging as an example. So students who wish to smudge can do so in the IPC. We do have a ceremony room. I believe it's called the, hopefully I don't butcher this, Dakota is not my language, the Heoti Tawapi ceremony room. And so again, like that room's used for both ceremonial purposes and non-ceremonial purposes. We do have, like I mentioned, the visiting elders, so students can meet with them if they want to. Um, and again, too, like I mentioned, having visiting elders, the elders are from different cultural backgrounds. So one of the things is that we understand that there are differences in cultures. So we're trying to be aware and, who we provide for that advice, or just, meeting with students, things like that. So um, those are the specific accommodations that I can think of. And then, of course, again, there are those other programs that I had mentioned previously, like the transition program, and so it all kind of molds together, I'd say.
I think that's great that Brandon University is really considerate of Indigenous cultural practices that students will probably want to continue. So that's awesome. Okay, moving on to the next question. So after COVID-19, will Brandon University still provide online learning from home or distance education? So I could remain on my reserve or my home community to complete that degree or diploma.
Currently, there is no indication as to whether or not the online opportunities will continue. However, if a student, wants to meet with me and um, they share these concerns with me, that gives me something that I can share with the university. So this is something that students want. Is this something that we could possibly do as part of our indigenization strategy? So it's definitely a good question, and again, keep asking those questions as well, because if that is something that will make your academic journey um, easier, or it'll be a lot more helpful, again, ask those questions. So, but right now there is no indication as to whether or not this online will continue. That'll be something that gets decided by upper administration.
But I do like to hear that students can be proactive and email you um, any concerns or suggestions that they may have with regards to learning in their own community. So that's great. All right, moving along to the next question. Are there tutoring services available? And I think you alluded to this a little bit, but if so, are they included in my tuition as a student at Brandon U?
Overall, tutoring services, those are all free um, if they're provided by BU. Now, there are tutoring services that are available within Brandon. However, those are private. So again, that will cost students, but if it's something that's provided by BU, it'll be free. The IPC, the Indigenous People Center, they also hire uh, tutors as well, and it's based on student needs. So if there's a need, and again, too, just kind of going back to that, sharing your concerns or your questions, with BU staff, is that when you're here, make your voice heard. If there's a need for it and you see a need for it, definitely let the staff know, and then that way we can sort of try and make that accommodation. Now, again, so there are tutors available on campus. Typically they are offered by, I guess there's two ways of this. One way is that it's offered by the department. So let's say the Department of Psychology, they're having a test coming up or exam, and they want to get some tutors in there, so they'll be the ones who look for those tutors, and then they'll find them and offer them. And then we also have our academic skills specialists. So they provide workshops, one-on-one meetings with students. And then student services will also look at providing tutors.
I definitely like to hear they're available and there's different options. And it sounds like they're available too at critical times, like if there's a big exam coming up or a project due.
Mhm.
And I'm sure students will really like to hear that it's already included in your tuition for the most part. So that's awesome. All right, moving on to the next question, Aaron. If I live on reserve, how can I best explore my career or course options at Brandon University?
So the best way to explore would be by visiting our website, attending a virtual presentation, or by organizing a one-on-one appointment with myself or my colleague. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you our website again, and I'll show you how you can sign up for those presentations or one-on-one meetings. So let's say you decide that you want to learn more about Brandon University. What you're going to do is you're going to come to our website, brandonu.ca, and then you're going to click on Future Students. All right. So then you're going to be taken to this page. Now, this is just like, again, it's a page just purely for future students. You'll see here that you have these options. You can request an appointment, admissions, programs, campus life, tuition, scholarships, visit us, residents. And then we also have these options here. So program, tuition, visit us, apply now. And then we also have these tabs here. So information specific for Indigenous students, international students, and so on. You can also access our handbook here and what to do if you're already accepted. So let's say I am a student and or prospective student, and I'm interested in learning more about the Native Studies program in the Bachelor of Arts. So you'll click on programs, degree programs, Bachelor of Arts, and then you scroll down and then you'll find here just a list of departments. So we'll click on Native Studies, and here it'll give you just an overview of Native Studies and some possible careers, some samples of like available courses. Yeah, so all of these are available to you. And then again, like it also take you back to how to apply your department website. So that's how you can learn more about a specific department or program. You'll see here that we have, programs in Bachelor of Arts, Business Administration. We have our education degrees. We've got two options there. The Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Nursing, Bachelor of Physical Education Studies, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Psychiatric Nursing, and Environmental Science. So again, you can learn more about all of those programs there. Let's say I've found that information and I still want to learn more. Well, you can click on Visit Us. This is a pretty awesome video here. If you want to watch that, you can. But so let's say you want to learn more. So you'll sign up to learn more. Do you reside in Canada? Yes. Name, last name, you'll enter your email, your phone number, and then here you'll be asked to put in what you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in a future student presentation. This information will come up. So then it'll be like, okay, which degree are you interested in? Bachelor of Arts. What type of presentation would you like? We have the individual general recruitment. And then we also offer presentations in the evening as well. So again, you can click one or the other. And then you'll enter your preferred date. So these are the dates here that we have left for our presentations. They are starting to kind of wind down, but again, we'll probably be offering more of that in the summertime. We do have like the private presentation for schools. So if you are a guidance counselor and you're seeing this, you can also do that there. And then you'll just submit it and it'll come straight to our future students email, and then we'll get in contact with you. If you want to connect with a member of the recruitment and retention team, very much the same. You'll click on that option, Bachelor of Arts. Would you like to have it by phone or Zoom? So right now we aren't offering in-person appointments, but we do have the phone and Zoom option. Your preferred date. One thing that I'll point out here is that it says here, please note that appointments need to be booked at least 2 weeks in advance. So just keep that in mind. But if, like, let's say this is a time sensitive issue, you really want to apply, you just need to connect with somebody, and like you want to do on the 25th, that's fine. Just submit that. So you'll submit your time. So let's say you want to meet let's say 2 or 3 p.m. or whatever. So you'll just enter your time right there. Oops. I guess I have to click the arrows. I don't know, 3:10 p.m. Now, so again, like you have to make sure that it's within the school time, so 9 to 4, with the exception of that lunch hour, of course. And then you'll send that same thing. It'll come to our future students email. Now, generally, we are pretty like accommodating. So, but again, just try and keep that 2 weeks in advance in mind. And then, but if not, we'll try and accommodate you based on our schedule. May end up being that, okay, well, we're a little booked up, so we'll move it back like a couple days or something like that. So just one thing to be aware of. But if you want to get in contact with either myself or my colleague, that's how you do that. So let's see here. So that's how you can learn more. Obviously, there's a lot more options here. So like if you want to learn about your tuition, we do have a tuition calculator. So we do have like a cost estimate. Like you would choose the number of courses that you're interested in taking, 5. And then like your meal plan. So like residence, if you're going to stay in residence, what are the options? So we have that here. And then are you going to need parking? And then books, we'll say 5. So that'll give you your tuition cost for the year, which is actually not too bad. Well, courses, we'll do 4. There we go. So yeah. And then we also have tuition tables, sorry. And you would just click on those and it'll take you to this, and you can just go by how many credits you're taking. All the fees are in here. One thing that I will say is that, of course, with anything, fees are subject to change, and these are estimates, but again, they're good ballpark figures. So let's see here. I think that is it for that part. So if you are interested in learning more, that's how you can do that. You also have our contact information on the side here if you want to just get in contact. I believe there are people in the admissions office, but if you're just starting out, you're going to want to get in contact with us. We don't have our email there, so that's something I'll make note of. So it's probably best to just go to the visit us and then, fill out that form. So that's how you can learn more.
Awesome. And I really think students will appreciate the website that you showed them to navigate. So when they're on there, they have a little bit of an understanding of how it works and what's available on that website, because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next question, Aaron. 26% of our students surveyed in Manitoba in a June 2019 MFNERC survey said they wanted a career in art, audio, visual technology, and communications after high school. So I was wondering, what does Brandon University offer in these specific areas?
So we do have our Bachelor of Fine Arts. We have different majors and minors within that area. So again, like we have our painting, ceramics, drawing. We also have Aboriginal art, an Aboriginal art major. And for students who are interested in more of the digital side of things, we do have a digital media and design 2+2 program with ACC. So at the start, I had mentioned that we do have a partnership with ACC. So the way that works is students will start off at Assiniboine Community College, do 2 years there in their interactive media arts program, and then they'll complete that program, and then they'll apply to BU. There'll be some credits that are transferred over, assuming like it'll be all of them, and then they'll only have to do 2 years at BU, and then they'll also graduate with a degree in digital media and design. One of the benefits of that is you're getting 2 credentials in the time it takes most people to get 1 credential. So that's something to really consider. So yeah, we do have options in arts and audio visual, again, like those major and minors. And then we also have a specific department. So we do have a Department of Visual Art. It's called the Ishkebedens Wazaga and Nabatik Department of Visual Art. So again, we are just being mindful of this is all part of our indigenization strategy. And what this word means, it's a little smoke that goes far. And yeah, so if you're interested in learning more about that, this is our website. And I can also provide that for those of you who are interested in learning about the visual art side of things and just fine arts in general. So I can provide that information as well.
Now, in the same survey, 28% of our students said they want a career in medical science and technology. What does Brandon University offer in these specific areas?
Brandon University, we offer our Bachelor of Nursing, the Bachelor of Science in Psychiatric Nursing, and we also have pre-professional options. So here's our pre-professional options. Now, the way this works is that let's say you want to become a doctor or you want to work in, athletic therapy, veterinarian dentistry. The way this works is you'll start off at BU. You'll complete either 1 year, 2 years, or a full degree, depending on what you're looking at. And then you'll take what you've learned and then you'll apply to that finishing school, because at BU we don't offer a school of medicine or anything. So but students can get started off with us, get what they need, apply to University of Manitoba, and then continue down that pathway. Same thing for all of these other areas here. So for those of you who are interested in like the medical areas in these that in what's listed, you can start off at BU and then transfer over to that finishing school. And then with our Bachelor of Science in Psychiatric Nursing and our Bachelor of Nursing, I'll talk about these two together for the most part. So you'll notice here that we have the 1 year pre-psychiatric nursing and then the 1 year pre-nursing. When students get into when students apply to these programs, they aren't officially in the programs yet. What they've gotten into is the pre-nursing or the pre-psychiatric nursing year. So what they're going to do is they're going to complete 30 credit hours. So 30, I guess, common courses. And then at the end of that first year, they'll apply to their second year. Now, during that application to their second year, they're going to look at their grades. And this is, I'll be honest, this is a competitive program. So you have to make sure that you have good grades. So another reason to utilize all those services that we offer. So we're going to look at your grades, and depending on what that mark is for that year, you'll either move forward, and once you're in that second year, you're in, or you'll have to reattempt some of those courses and then apply again. So that's what we offer. These programs are awesome in that they do have practicum components as well. Quite a few of our programs have practicum or like co-op options. So, but with these two here, they do have like the practicum components, and they also have like within this building, there are, so this is the health studies complex. There are these mock hospital rooms, and we have these mannequins or robots. I don't know what you'd call them, but students can work on them. They're programmed to do all these different functions, so they can cry, sweat, bleed. If you're practicing giving them an IV, they may even react to that if you keep poking them in the wrong spot. So that's really awesome. And then again too, like with that practicum component, you get into the hospitals and you work on the different levels, the different areas of that hospital. Same thing with the psychiatric nursing. You'll work in different areas within Brandon, and I believe outside of Brandon as well, just to get that professional work experience.
Oh, that's awesome. I especially like that there will be real life experiences. And even with the, is it mannequins or
Yeah, mannequins
mock
or
experiences?
yeah, mock experiences. Like those mannequins, I call them mannequins, but they're more like robots, I guess.
Yeah, they
Some of them
sound
are,
really interesting.
yeah, some of them are even programmed to give birth. It's interesting.
Wow, that's crazy. All right. So this next question, and this is the last one, Aaron, but this one's going to be a little bit more challenging just because of nature that Brandon is a university, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway. 47% of our students in this same June 2019 survey said they wanted a job in the trades after graduating high school. What options in this area do you have available at Brandon University?
So right now we don't have any trade options. I'll just come out and say that. Um, Best option would be, at least like if you want to come to Brandon, would be Assiniboine Community College. They offer a lot of different programs, like automotive, welding, construction, a whole lot of different areas. So definitely check them out if you're interested in trades. One thing I will say though is that if you're interested in trades and you are looking to, let's say, start your own business, it might be good to think about possibly taking your trade, get your ticket in that area. And then if you want to start your own business, follow up with a degree in business at BU. So learn the business side of things and how to market yourself and all that stuff. So,
And to be realistic, students, not every school will offer everything, as you've already saw in some previous videos. All right, so I want to take this time and say thank you, Arian, very much for participating in this interview. You've given some great insight, some great resources, and students, there'll be links below to check out right away after this video. And stay tuned for more videos to come.